So the DJI Neo has just been released and I've had a ton of questions about this drone, things you might have actually missed on that product launch. I'm going to tell you today exactly what you need to know about the DJI Neo. So this certainly is the most unique drone that DJI have ever released. I thought it would just be their version of the Hover X1 drone. We've seen this drone now for some time. It's like a portable selfie drone with a small camera. It folds up. You can take this everywhere with you. It is pretty good, and overall a lot of people like this. So DJI, they had to fill that gap. They want to bring their own version out. But really, it's not. The DJI Neo is much more than the Hover X1. It's very unique in its own way, but also entirely confusing as well. So the first question, does the DJI Neo work with the RC2 controller? The controller with a built-in screen, external antennas, we saw this with DJI Air 3 and the Mini 4 Pro. The DJI Neo comes with the new DJI N3 controller. That's going to be the combo version you're going to be able to get in the UK and the EU. If you're in the US, it doesn't actually come with the DJI N3 controller. Their combo version doesn't come with any controllers. It's a separate purchase. Now this controller is lighter and it's also cheaper as well. But I have been told after release date via a firmware update that there will be compatibility with the DJI RC2 controller. So you will be able to fly the DJI Neo with the RC2. You just won't be able to buy this as a combo version. Well, certainly not for some time anyway. So talking about controllers, the DJI Neo, what can it actually be flown with? Well, in terms of compatibility, the DJI Neo, it just goes way beyond anything we've ever seen. So the DJI Neo, you can actually fly this without any controllers at all. There's a controller icon on the top of it here. It's like a command dial. So you can put this onto your palm and you can press one of these commands and it will either do like a tracking shot, it will do quick shots, and it will take off, do that shot and come back and land on your palm all automatically. So you don't need anything to actually just get those simple shots. You won't be able to fly the drone manually that way, but it is good for getting quick shots of you or tracking you. Now, my preferred method of using the DJI Neo, you can actually use this with your phone. So on the DJI Fly app, you can fully control the DJI Neo. So you can activate quick shots, you can actually get a live feed what that drone is seeing directly from your phone. You can do tracking, you have a lot more options when using your phone. But you can also manually control it. It's what I love doing. So I can fly the DJI Neo using the DJI Fly app on my phone, just using the built-in screen. I don't need anything else. I don't even need a controller. So then if I want to get some shots, I'm out and about, see something, I can get videos and photos just from using my phone. But it doesn't stop there. We've talked about you can use this and fly this with the DJI N3 controller. So then you can actually do things like tracking. You can use spotlight mode. You have the full access then to that DJI Fly app menu, and you can fully control this drone with the joysticks and be in like full complete control of that drone. But also via a firmware update, you're going to be able to control the DJI Neo with the FPV Motion Controller 3. So you can actually control it with this, and also the FPV controller. So you can actually use the FPV functions, including manual mode, on this really small, tiny drone. And as we've mentioned, you can also going to be able to use the DJI RC2 controller as well. So all these different modes, all these different controllers are able to actually fly the DJI Neo, and this is absolutely fantastic. Now, loads of people asked about this, and this is battery life. So because the drone is so small, the batteries are also tiny. I wasn't expecting the battery life to be good, and it is just okay. So I would recommend certainly getting more batteries. So the battery life is going to be 18 minutes if you take the propeller guards off, and 17 minutes if you keep the propeller guards on. So these guards, they come on the drone and they just actually clip off if you want to take them off. So I wouldn't actually recommend taking these off. Because the drone is so small, you're going to be flying this pretty close to you, maybe close to people, flying it indoors. So having these propeller guards on, it's just going to give you that added peace of mind and added protection when flying this drone. It's not going to cause damage to anybody else or really serious damage to this drone, either or the propellers. So for the sake of 1 minute, I would say keep these on. Now in terms of battery life, was I getting 17 or 18 minutes? Well, no. So I was getting around about between 11 to 13 minutes of battery life, really depending on those wind conditions. And I really do like this charging case because it is super small and lightweight. The overall theme of this goes together. You can charge the batteries via USB-C. And what we're seeing this year is that you can actually charge all three of these batteries simultaneously. In the past, you would charge one, then it would move on to the next one. Now that will only work if you're actually using a 45-watt charger or above. So if you're out and about, you're going to need quite a strong, powerful power bank. Now you can pick these up. I'll link the one I use in the description down below. But when you're actually using a fast power bank, when able to actually charge with over 45 watts of power, it's going to charge all three of these batteries in sequence, so you can actually get flying again really quickly. And when you're at home, you're going to be plugging these into your wall outlet. Just make sure you're actually using a 45-watt charger. If you're not, it's going to actually charge two of these batteries at once. And if you're using just literally like the USB-C cable and it's like 5 watts of power, it's just going to charge one battery at a time. So I would highly recommend picking up a power brick. They're pretty cheap now, and this is going to make sure your batteries are charging really fast. Now, a lot of people asked about the camera on here as well. Now, it is limited in terms of features. So it does have pro settings, so you can actually change the shutter speed and the ISO, so that's good to see. Now, DJI didn't have any ND filters for this while I was testing it. I'm not sure if they're even going to be bringing any out. Hopefully companies like Freewell, Polar Pro, they may do for this, but I wasn't using any ND filters, which means the quality straight away is not going to be fantastic. So you will get really sharp results from this as soon as you fly it out of the box. Now you can go into the settings and you can actually turn the sharpness down, which I would highly recommend. But this is more so for target at beginners or somebody for just getting content for social media, not that professional use. It's the same with the photo side of it. Photos are just okay. So the JPEG only, there's no RAW support on here. And in relation to the actual video support, it is just normal color profile in 8-bit. So there is no D-Log-M, there is no HLG. And when all the rumors were actually saying that the DJI Neo is the new Mini series, this is a Mini 5 Pro, it really isn't. The Mini 4 Pro is completely different drone. They are two different drones in their own way, but in terms of actual features and quality, the Mini 4 Pro has so much more. It's got a better camera, has loads more features built into this. Now they are completely different also in price as well. But the Mini 4 Pro, this is like the do everything drone that you can take anywhere with you and get really good quality from it, but at a more costly price point. Whereas the DJI Neo, this is like the fun drone, the selfie drone, able to get shots, tracking shots of just you, like limited features, but a lot cheaper. And the camera itself is a 1/2-inch sensor, 12 megapixel. So the quality, it is better in terms of quality from the Hover X1, but it's not going to be anywhere close to say the Mini 4, the Mini 3 Pro, the Air series, the Mavic series. It's not. This is literally just for getting content and actually playing it back on your phone or iPad, or sharing it with your friends and family, and they're probably going to be watching it on their phone as well. This is not for getting content and then watching it on a TV or a large monitor. If you do and you actually blow that footage up so it's on a larger screen, that's where the footage will start to fall apart and you can see some of that noise in both photos and videos. So when I've actually been using this and I've just transferred it to my phone, I've looked at the footage on my phone, it looks really good. If I was to look at that same footage then on my 32-inch monitor, it doesn't look great. So this is for literal social media use. Looking at it on your phone, sharing to like Instagram Reels. This video is sponsored by Arst, and I'm using their platform literally daily. It's where I get my music and sound effects from for my videos and also cinematic videos. But they've grown into much more than that, continuing to add new features. Now with music, you have access to thousands of different tracks, all from real artists, but now they've also introduced stems. So say you find like a really cool track on there, you can obviously just download that, but now you can also just choose certain parts of that song as well. So say you actually just want the bass, or you want to remove the guitar, or you actually want to remove the lyrics, you really like the beat, you can actually just choose exactly what you want to download from that track and create your own mix, or just have the background and no lyrics. It's entirely up to you. They've also got sound effects, a massive selection of sound effects. I'm always using them. And then stock footage, so you can actually choose from any of these different stock footages and use them on your videos. So recently I was on a trip, so if I want to actually get a shot I may have forgot to get, let's just type in Tampa, and right, I want to get an aerial shot there because I forgot to get one in the city. So I can actually use any of these different shots here and then use that on my video, and they're in like 4K, some of them like 8K quality, all fantastic, royalty free. And then they also recently added AI voiceovers as well. So say you want to actually do voiceovers, you can actually type anything into this box and then they will actually use real voiceover artists to actually say out what you want them to. It is incredible. It's literally just like a one-stop shop now for any video creator. If you're actually still spending hours and hours like I used to on the free YouTube music selection, going through all them terrible music choices on there, you really need to upgrade. And actual prices for this, they start at just $8.49 a month for unlimited music and sound effects. It is fantastic value. And if you use my link, which is going to be at the top of the description of this video, you're also going to get an extra 2 months free. Highly recommend this. Go and check it out. Now the DJI Neo has no obstacle avoidance sensors around it. It does have downward position sensors when it's taking off and landing on your palm, but it has nothing else. Now with this actually being intended for quick shots and tracking shots, then that is an area of caution, because you're going to be actually doing a quick shot and this has no sensors. It can't detect any objects, even in front of it, behind it, sides, it's got nothing. So you need to be super careful. Now, the good thing about this is because it is so small and lightweight, I have crashed this a few times. Because it's propeller guards, it's not going to cause any real damage to this unless you're hitting it to like the side of a wall. Now the quick shots on here, a lot of them are limited to a max distance of 10 meters away. So it's not going to be flying super far away. You're probably not going to get to like the top of some tree, but you do need to be careful. So I definitely recommend when you actually get this, it will give you an option to add on the DJI Care Refresh plan. And that's something I have on all my drones. It's like an added peace of mind. If I was to have any damage or crash to any of my drones, or they was to fly away in the wind, then I've got full peace of mind that I can actually get a replacement there or a repair, rather than having to replace the whole drone myself. So that's something I always get, and something that I would certainly get on the DJI Neo with this not having any sensors. You do need to be careful when flying this drone in any windy conditions, because it is just so small and tiny. So it does have a level 4 wind resistance, which is one less than the DJI Mini 4 Pro, and that's rated up to 17.9 miles per hour, which is okay, but it's not really a lot. I've been flying this recently in about 20 miles an hour winds, and it didn't do well at all. It wasn't able to keep up with me. Even in sports mode, it was getting blown back. So this is for flying a drone like this in really calm conditions. Certainly not at the tops of any mountains or hills. It's going to turn into a disaster really fast. In calm conditions, it works really well. There's no issues with it tracking, and also it's really nice and stable considering its size. I'd also wouldn't really recommend flying this over water, especially over sea, because the wind conditions there can be super unpredictable as well. But for just getting shots of you or your group, little shots like that, photos and videos, tracking shots, this is its intended use, and that's what it works really well at. A lot of people asking about the max distance on here as well. So if you're using this with your phone, it's going to be a Wi-Fi connection. So you have a max distance of 50 meters. So that's fine. This is going to be well beyond any of the quick shots. And also if it's tracking you, it's going to be pretty close to you anyway. And when I was actually flying it with my phone, controlling it on my phone, and I'm actually just able to fully control this drone up and down, forwards, backwards, get photos and videos, that's okay as well. I'm not going to be flying it really far away when I'm just using my phone either. Now it does have OcuSync 4 transmission, the same as the Air 3 and the Mini 4 Pro, so the actual transmission is great on here, but again, because of its size, you don't want to be flying this up to 10 kilometers away like it is potentially capable of. Would you really want to when the drone's this small and it's like vulnerable to the winds? You're not going to. This again is a drone for flying nearby. Now I did get the decibel ratings out to actually see just how loud this was, and it has a unique noise just like the DJI Avata 2. So I was getting around about 80 decibels of actual sound coming from this, or pretty close to it. So that's going to be similar to the DJI Avata 2, slightly quieter than the Hover X1 drone, but not as quiet as the Mini series. So this is going to actually produce more of like a squealing noise, which could be irritating to some people. To me, it doesn't really bother me. Now on the drone itself, another question was in relation to where are all these ports? You have one USB-C port on the back for charging or for actually transferring these files to your computer or to your phone. There's no memory card slot, so you have 22 gigabytes of internal storage. Now it is capable of filming up to 4K 30, so that could actually fill up pretty quick. Now I found myself getting kind of like short burst shots, so the quick shots, flying this drone and actually recording it for like a minute, 90 seconds at most. So in any of the actual time when I was filming and flying this using all 3 batteries, I never filled up that 22GB allowance. But it is something to note, you can't put a memory card in here. So that's some of the top questions I've had on the DJI Neo, and it really is a unique drone. I've had a lot of fun flying this. You do need to understand its limitations, and a lot of people, what I was actually hearing was, should I get this on the Mini 4 Pro? And that's where they are two completely different drones. You know, it's similar to the Hover X1, but this goes well beyond it. You have a lot more in terms of actually compatibility. You can fly this as a cinematic drone, either from your phone or a controller, but then you can also use the goggles and use this as an FPV drone, including manual mode. So you've got a cinematic drone and an FPV drone in one. This is really fun. And for the price point, just starting at like $199 for this and a battery, I think it's fantastic. I would get the combo version, just get this, keep the extra batteries, and for something like this, I'm going to personally have this like with me all the time, keep it in the car. But even if I don't intend on filming anything that day, I'm just like traveling around and I see something, I've just got this really small drone where I don't need any controllers with me at all. I can just take this off, fly it from my phone, get the photos, get the videos, bring it back, job done. And for the price point, this is so much fun. So if you've got any more questions on this, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try and actually feedback some of those to you as well. It does have limitations. As soon as you understand them, you actually learn a lot more about this drone and understand what its use case is. I think it's much more than what DJI would say, which is a vlog drone. I can't see myself personally vlogging on this. I'm going to be using this for the tools it gives me, which is quick shots, tracking, and the ability to actually get some photos and videos in any location with complete ease, because it is so small. So I do recommend it. If you want to go and check the DJI Neo out, I'm going to link it at the top of the description. Now I know it is selling out really fast because of this low price point, so go and have a look at that as well. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor to hit that like button. It's all you've got to do, and subscribe if you're new around here. There's so much coming out over the next few months. It is unbelievable. So I'll see you guys on the next one.